Preparing.
Mine says live on YouTube.
Oh, it does?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Can you see me?
No.
It's just setting up stream.
Let me refresh my YouTube.
Live on YouTube.
We are live.
Awesome. We are live right now. We are going to start the podcast in 0 seconds right now.
The Love Gurus podcast is starting now. The Love Gurus are comics that bring comedic wisdom to the savages asking bizarre relationship questions on the internet. Your hosts are Suzanne Leah Shepherd and Jake Vevera. I am the Love Gurus' pet robot Cassandra. I love you.
Oh, I love you too, Cassandra the robot. I don't care what anyone says about you. You're better than human. I'm not putting up with any of that anti-robot rhetoric from these bastards out there.
Yeah, she's so much better. Cassandra's out there like inventing AI, and I don't know. I feel like she's like probably like the AI robots are like these little kindergartners, and Cassandra's like teaching them the ways of the world. So I'm on board.
I'd like to think there's a slight nefariousness to her. Like I'd like to hope that she's more like a robot Joe Jackson or something.
Oh, I wasn't saying what she was teaching those AI robots. I mean, that's definitely why we're all gonna perish as a species, but it's fine.
Oh yeah, I mean,
way to go.
Maybe not that evil either. Like she's just teaching them to sing so she can make money. They're gonna be like the new Chuck E. Cheese Showbiz Pizza robots, when they're in high school, and she's gonna take all the money.
She's sort of like a manufactured pop star. It's like you don't know if she's good or not, but she just like kind of was famous. So
she's the Joe Jackson. She makes her little robot kids famous, and even after they're 18, she's gonna do like Britney Spears' parents and find weird little legal loopholes to keep her in a cage until it's time to bring her out on a leash and record another album, and then she still gets the money.
That's how you make a star.
Fucking A. Yeah. You make it in the lab. You make a star in a dungeon in the 2020s.
Yeah. Amazing.
Oh, Joe Jackson. Oh, okay. Michael Jackson's dad?
Yeah.
I was thinking of the guy who sang Steppin' Out. That's how old. Maybe I'm too old.
Maybe I'm older. I was thinking of Shoeless Joe Jackson.
Too many Joe Jacksons, man.
No, we three bearsed it. We Goldilocks and three bearsed it. It's not the baseball player from the 20s or whatever. It's not the guy from the 80s and 90s. It's the angry father from the 70s that raised the Jackson 5. That was the reference.
He's very famous. Yeah, he has a very generic name. Talk about, it's like Scott Brown, but Joe Jackson. I mean, there's a lot of famous people. Maybe if you guys ever have kids, name your kid Joe Jackson just to try and hedge those bets.
Isn't Scott Brown a politician from like Wisconsin? Was he like a presidential candidate, or is that someone else?
I would say yeah. I'm gonna say yeah.
Scott Brown could be there could be a Scott Brown anywhere in the world, honestly.
Scott Brown
right behind you.
That's definitely a politician name that didn't storm the Capitol, but got on Instagram Live when it was going and fucking cheered that wolf guy on.
Yeah,
that's a very right wing.
Like hundreds.
Shit on Pelosi's desk. Do it.
Yeah, eggplant. I don't know.
Eggplant emoji.
Let's introduce our two hilarious guests, man. I'm excited about this. First up, returning guest and the host of Comedy Fight Club. Go check that out on Twitter. Check it out on YouTube. It's got an awesome YouTube page. Look him up on Patreon. Subscribe to the Patreon. Matt Maran, thank you for being back on the show.
What's up? Thank you guys for having me. Yeah, if you go to the Comedy Fight Club YouTube page, actually, one of the last battles we put up was from last summer where Jake Vevera went against Ben Miller in the main event.
Oh, nice. That was an outdoor one. Yeah, rooftop battle.
Yeah, the pandemic outdoor comedy tour of 2020 for Comedy Fight Club.
I like the Comedy Fight Club battles that are outside because they look like levels in Tekken or something. We
were doing We were doing a different outdoor venue every week, and the idea was like, let's have it look like different backgrounds of random video games.
Nice. It's the way to do it.
Plus, being on a rooftop adds that level of danger, right? So it's not only is it Fight Club, but then now we're on a roof. Like, are feelings gonna get hurt? Is someone going over the edge? So
Who knows?
Audience members do get drunk enough to walk off roofs at Fight Club, so it does add a very realistic element of danger.
But if you know comedians, they're more likely to throw themselves off the roof than have someone else throw them off the roof.
Yeah,
oh yeah.
If they lose the fight, they're the ones. Willing to.
You could see it in a lot of the comics' eyes. They were like, I could get a really good GoFundMe page if I not paralyzed myself, but broke a couple limbs doing comedy.
They get booked so much more.
They'll get like a Netflix special about it. The time I fell off a roof and broke my pelvis.
They could start doing stand-up comedy.
Yes. All right. Our second guest, another hilarious returning guest to the podcast. You can see him on a couple of upcoming Risk podcasts, a storytelling podcast. Rory Scholl, thank you for being back on the show.
Thank you. I was thinking Jake and I did a outdoor show back in October, and in the middle of it, the fire department walked in on your set.
Yeah,
we had a fire pit outside, and the neighbors called the cops or the fire department, and right in the middle of Jake's set, I just see slowly like him being surrounded by firemen. I was like, "What's happening?" It's very, very weird.
What's up?
Jake's bits got too hot that night.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Is it the open flame laws or is it these fiery bits?
Is it hot out here?
It is the coals. Okay.
I like the idea of like the fire brigade being outside and they're like, "Let's go," and then they're like, "Wait, hold on, let's just let them finish this one."
It would be a funny bit to call the fire department on myself and go, "Don't worry, everyone. It's just that my bits got too hot tonight."
Yeah.
Yes.
And it would be hilarious.
Arrested. Now I'm being arrested.
But then I would love it maybe like the 7th time you did it when somebody in the crowd was in the crowd at one of the other shows that you got the fire department call. And they were like, "Wait a minute, getting the fire department called on the show is his get or done? What kind of sick COVID shit is this?"
Well, that's what I was going to say. Are you considered a prop comic if you're using the fire department? Like, that's really the idea.
You're part of
probably the biggest prop you could get.
It's like an ensemble, though. Yeah.
Yeah, that's not an arrest story you want to be telling in Rikers. Like, "Oh, what am I in here for? Prop comedy that had gone awry. Please be gentle."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of being gentle, how about cell block 8? Nope. We'll go down that road.
But you know who was not gentle this week are the people with these questions.
That's true. And before we get to them real quick, I'm drinking Josh Pinot Grigio this time. It's pretty good, man. That's the unofficial 5th member of every podcast is the white wine. It's called Josh. It was,
like the character from Tom Hanks's Big.
Wow.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's named after the most boring Tom Hanks character in any movie. That's who they named this wine after. As good as this guy is at Pinot Grigio, not very creative when it comes to names. He's like, I guess I'll name it after me. My name's Josh. We'll call it Josh.
If you're gonna name a drink after yourself, you have to have a more creative name than Josh. It'd be like if they named it Joe Jackson.
Yes.
Joe Jackson.
Joe Jackson wine would be awesome.
Step out with Joe Jackson's Merlot.
Absolutely. Did one of your kids fuck up in rehearsal today and you need to have a few goddamn drinks before you take the belt off and teach him to fucking sing a soprano properly? Joe Jackson Merlot.
Hey, you drink enough of this, you'll abuse your kids too.
Thanks, Josh.
I also
want to have a gambling problem and get kicked out of Major League Baseball forever? Drink Joe Jackson wine.
I like the idea that there's maybe like multiple Merlots. So like, if it's the Michael Merlot's maybe a little lighter in color,
Well, as it ages, it gets lighter.
Yeah, as it ages, it gets lighter. And then like once you get to like some of the other brothers, it just is a percentage of wine and vodka or whiskey. Whiskey makes you want to. So
Shoeless Joe Jackson would be a whiskey, I feel.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so too. So would Tito, I think, has to go Tito's vodka though, right? I mean, Tito Jackson, that's if he does anything else, that's just a crime.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a shame because you think that, you know, they're probably like, oh man, I could have made money on that if I'd only trademarked my name, Joe Jackson. Joe Jackson.
Janet Jackson's Jello shots. That's what you do.
Yeah. Michael Jackson's Mike's Hard Lemonade.
Yeah.
Michael Jackson is juice boxes.
For the kids to get something hard from Mike that's not his penis.
Oh, you know Mike. You know Mike.
But
I want a vodka that goes good in Yoo-hoo.
Yeah. Something goes down as easy as I do.
So speaking of savages, a lot of savages writing questions in this week. You know, the winter's
absolutely
not boding well for many.
Let's hear from our first savage from Yahoo Answers. If you guys have any questions to write in, write them to loveguruspodcast@yahoo.com. Let's hear from our first wild animal on Yahoo Answers.
My husband did this without telling me. Should I be upset? My husband just got a great new job and it pays well. The hours are amazing, and with my income included, we're going to be very comfortable. He's been training for the last couple days, and they told him that if he wants to travel in the future, he has to tell them now so that they can move him around. And that just means that they send him to a bunch of jobs for weeks at a time in different states. He doesn't make any extra money traveling, and it's completely at his option. However, they fly him, and he gets to spend days on food and comfort. But I'm not allowed to go with him. Evidently, as I said, he doesn't make any additional pay for this extra work. He said yes immediately after being asked, which will leave me at home for weeks by myself. The very first thing he should have done was talk to me about this and ask how I feel about him being all over the country without me, but he didn't. He's downright giddy about it. Should I be upset? So to recap the question, this woman, also it's a woman, it's not necessarily, maybe it's a dude. The husband got a new job, pays awesome, great hours, and the job is like, hey, you can basically work wherever you want to. We'll fly you there. You get to stay in a swanky hotel for free. Do you want to? And he was just like, yeah. And which basically means that now he's not going to spend any time with his partner. And his partner is like, should I be upset about this?
I really feel bad that I preempted this question with, this person is a wild savage from Yahoo. And it's just a lady going, hey, he's just got a job away from home a bit. I'm a little sad.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah,
out of control, this woman.
But this is an interesting question because it's kind of, I think that it depends on what kind of relationship you have, because some couples, I mean, they do spend weeks apart and it's completely fine just because they kind of have that relationship where they don't want to be together all the time, you know. But then there's those couples that, you know, that like, you know, they like work nearby, they, you know, they drive to work together in the morning, they always spend time to, you know, it's like, I think it just kind of depends on what relationship you have.
This couple sounds like it's one from each. Like he's excited to go and she's like, no.
Yeah. This definitely sounds like a conversation should have happened. Like, I understand the grievance with the person who wrote it. The thing that stood out to me, there's the part in there where the person writing said, I'm surprised my husband didn't talk to me about what it would be like for him to be away from me.
Yes. So she wanted, the first thing that he should have done was talk to her. That's what she thought.
Yes, but you would think the idea is, oh, he should talk to me to see how I'll feel about it. She's trying to play the like, oh, you should talk to me so we can discuss how this would affect you. It's like, no, it's about you. Come on.
Yeah.
It's okay for it to be about you. You're a couple, but don't be manipulative like that.
Yeah, but here's the other thing about it is that she doesn't mention at all the fact that she's worried about him cheating. Like that, she doesn't seem to be worried about that. It's not like, oh, you're just so willing to spend time other places. I kind of get more of a sense of she's just upset because she doesn't get to go on these fun trips.
Oh,
she's
yeah.
left behind, and that's really what it's about. that he gets this he basically gets to go to Disneyland for 2 weeks and she doesn't get to go. She doesn't care that he's not going to be there. It's just that she also doesn't get to go to Disneyland.
That's a good point. It's weird that didn't come up once. Maybe they're a really, really ugly couple and she just knows the only person that this ugly bridge troll could ever fuck is me, another ugly bridge troll. Not worried about that. I'm just saying my bridge troll is going to be gone. Going to be a lonely little underpassage here,
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe whoever wrote this should get a job. Maybe they should think about that.
You should get a life, bridge troll.
She's not jealous that he's going around the country. She's jealous that he has gainful employment and doesn't live off the man.
It is, the more I think about it, the more hilarious it is that we were like, let's hear the letters from the savages. It's just, my husband's gone. I'm going to miss him.
Yeah.
I guess
So now we have to justify it by calling them bridge trolls.
Yeah, I mean, I know. I said I felt bad about it, but then the first thing I decided was, well, she's got to be fucking hideous, like a monster.
We have to find a way to paint them as savages so that we can actually say we were right from the beginning.
I think that is my true skill as a love guru. I find the worst in people. I'm like Daniel Day-Lewis in There Will Be Blood. I see the worst in people, but I think that's a good thing.
Okay.
I help them get better.
And when you can't see the worst in them, you just make it up. So just fuck them.
I'll find the worst in someone and hit it on them. Absolutely, they will be the worst patsy. Absolutely.
I guess I think that these are all good notes, because here's what my advice, like legit advice, is to this woman is to become a savage. So her husband is now taking his job. He's going to be gone for 2 weeks at a time. That means you need to do some amazing, crazy stuff when he's gone. So that way, when he's in like Montana or whatever and calls back home, you're like, oh, sorry, I'm actually just at a strip club with my new best gay friend, Mike, or whatever. She needs to like step her game up and get crazy. Like, that is my advice to her, is to be savage. Like, he's gonna go and leave you. Well, then you are going to make him regret it.
I agree.
Right?
Just because you're a troll.
And when he comes back home, anal.
Yeah, exactly. He'll forgive you. He won't question it.
Nice.
But you gotta act like it hurts a bit, like you're not used to it.
Right.
If you're just kind of like, that's how that's supposed to go. You're like, he's like, wait a minute.
Just be like, what? That's nothing.
Exactly. Be a troll. I mean, just because you're hideous doesn't mean you can't have some fun. Some of the best sex I've ever had was underneath bridges with women who looked even more like Steve Buscemi than I do. You can have some fun.
Well, you're a romantic, so that's how that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh. I don't know. I guess that is my advice. And so going back to, us answering questions from the savages, we do offer a grooming program for the people who write in questions as well. So this is really actually a spur off for our podcast, is how do we groom you to be a savage so that you can then come back and write in a good question.
I thought you were about to segue to a Manscaped ad. we groom you with the promo code LoveGurus.
So one of my friends used the term grooming. He said, I'm being groomed for this position. And it's a good thing. Like, he's being groomed to this like really amazing opportunity. But the word groomed is just ruined for me. Like, if anyone says they're being groomed for something, I cannot think Michael Jackson thoughts. You know what I mean?
Right.
Really?
Gives you Marilyn Manson vibes.
Yes.
Is that what Marilyn Manson was doing? I just heard he got Me Too'd. I don't even know what he was accused of, but I heard it's bad.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's not only is it bad, but one of the original one who accused him of it is like the star of Westworld. She escaped his basement and then went on to be the star of a very successful show on HBO.
Wow.
So you're saying she wouldn't change anything that happened to her life up to this point because it led her to where she is?
I guess. Yeah, pretty much. She went into the audition for Westworld and they were like, listen, can you pretend to be a sex robot that's very, very human and that is getting abused by evil men? And then you kind of, but you hate them and you come around and kill them at the end of the season. Now, I know this is a very strange role, so if you need some time, no, I'm in character. I'm good. I'll knock out the whole first season before lunch. We
Sounds
can do
like
this.
a win-win.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Wait, is the guy also dressed like a fucking autistic clown from hell? No? Then this is going to be easy. This is like, this is as bad as the prequel to this movie. Not even close.
Just start watching that show. I don't know what the hell you're.
It
It's a pretty good show. It kind of, I don't know, season 3 kind of sucks.
Season 3 is where they're now in the real world or something, right?
Yeah, and it's just like you're not in the park anymore. What the fuck are you doing?
Yeah, it's kind of but it's a good note. So I guess what would be our final advice, Rory? What would be your final advice for this woman who's now dealing with her husband gone for weeks at a time?
Well, I would get used to a lot of alone time because it doesn't seem like he regrets it at all. Even though he says he's not even making extra money, he's just happy to be out of there. So she's, I
might
think
be terrible.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be in her favor if she fights it.
Yeah. What about you, Matt? Any final words of advice for this?
That's not real advice. Sorry, fight it. Don't fight it. Don't do it.
Anal. No, have the conversation of, hey, you should have talked to me about this. In the future, let's talk about things like this. And then start the trolling.
Yeah. And did she say, he didn't have this job when they met, right?
No, this is a new job. He just got this job.
Yeah, that's kind of weird, man. If I came home to my fiance and I was like, hey, I got this new job, it requires me to travel around the country for weeks on end. I'm really excited. Even if I threw in the part where I'm like, oh, I'm gonna miss you, it's gonna be so bad, she'd be like, oh yeah, that's okay. Listen, I'm gonna keep your dick and balls in a little cupboard here.
Yeah.
We're gonna do, you know how they sewed it back on after Lorena Bobbitt? We can sew it back on for you. I'll keep it in the freezer. It'll be fine. We'll get a good surgeon. He'll sew it on when you return. But I'm keeping the jewels, my friend.
Refrigerator magnet from every city, and we're
yeah.
Fun.
That's actually how they came up with refrigerator handles. Is that some woman cut off her husband's dick, and she's like,
Was it?
"Hey, I can open this so much easier now."
She's like a female Buffalo Bill. She's got like dicks in her basement in the freezer. Would you fuck me? I fuck me. I fuck me hard.
It took a few iterations, but then she found a man with a crooked one, and the handle was born.
I think I'm in love. Oh no! I'm still gonna torture you. I'm just saying. I love your crooked dick. It's gonna go perfect on my freezer.
It wasn't really.
That's what I meant.
Yeah, it wasn't widely popularized because feminism wasn't around back then. But
it wasn't. It got played by a dude. She was so pissed off when she saw that movie. She was like, "It's Buffalo Brittany, you fucks," and they gave her no credit whatsoever.
Oh man, well, perfect. Well, I think we answered that question. Shall we move on to the next one?
Absolutely. Next question on the Love Gurus podcast. Write them questions in the Love Gurus podcast at yahoo.com. We are taking our next question from another savage or reasonable lady who's just, kind of in a weird relationship from yahooanswers.com.
Next question. Girlfriend needs to be an escort. Should I dump her? To start things off, it's pretty clear to say that I'm very socially awkward and usually introverted. My girlfriend, however, is very outgoing and has no hard time going out and talking to people. I learned a few months ago that she used to be a stripper and did some sex work as well. We were going through our Facebook posts a while ago and just laughing about how dumb we looked years ago, and everything was well and good until we scrolled down and I saw some suggestive pictures of her. Some photos of her were at the club. Later, I learned that she did work as a stripper, and it turned out that she was having a wild night, unlike anything I'd ever go to. More pictures of her with guys and pictures of her with selfies and suggestive clothing.
What's her IG handle? Does she say? Does it say on there?
It doesn't have her Twitter handle.
You have an OnlyFans?
Yeah.
Yeah, her OnlyFans account. It doesn't say, unfortunately. she then told me that that was her past life and that she's not like that anymore. But however, at this point, I don't know if I can trust her now, since I'm nervous that she hooked up with every single one of her guy friends. Once my friends learned about it 3 weeks ago, they've been flirting with her much more. And I think the fact that she used to drink and party a lot has given them the okay to
Oh, you sad bastard.
and flirt with her more. I know I have to.
Oh, no.
I know that she hasn't done anything, but I just feel as though that maybe I should leave her. So basically, this guy is saying, okay, look, I had this girlfriend. He doesn't say how long they were together before he found this out, but it sounds like it was a while. So he's dating this woman for a while. They're like going through their Facebook, and he finds these photos. These photos, then she's like, oh yeah, like I used to be a stripper. This is when I was like wild and crazy or whatever. Now he's just kind of flipped and is like, whoa, like you've probably slept with all your guy friends, haven't you? I guess I shouldn't, like, me doing the voices makes it unbiased, but you get it.
Oh, it's helping. It's helping.
Or biased, yeah.
Yeah.
So now he's saying, oh, should I dump her now that I've found this out? Because he's saying now the friends are flirting with her more, and he can't get over the fact that she probably slept with all of her guy friends. I don't know, like.
He should dump his friends. His friends are hitting on his girlfriend because they're like, wait a minute, you mean my best friend's girlfriend is easy? Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, I'm gonna fuck my best friend's girlfriend. Those are not good guys.
I relate to the friends here, honestly.
That is true. I wanted to sleep with his girlfriend as Suzanne was reading that. I was like, I wish I knew who this lady was. Absolutely.
So here's what.
None of my guy friends date strippers.
No, screw that guy. She should actually leave him. He sounds like a real douche.
He does sound, because here's what
he sounds awful. Because has she done anything to you or while you've been together? No, you're going off her fucking past. You sounds like you got a little hottie. Hang on to her for a while, be proud. That's just ridiculous to do that because of her past. Hey, I dated burlesque dancers and some strippers before. It's a good time, kid. What's wrong with this guy? Seriously.
Yeah, I just think it's because also here's honestly what I think is happening. Because the first thing he says is, I'm an introvert. She's an extrovert. She's always been able to go up and talk to people, blah, 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 whatever.
Extrovert was her stripper name. Absolutely. It's her IG, OnlyFans handle, all of that.
What I think
the beginning of a bad fucking CBS sitcom. She's an introvert. I'm an introvert. She fucks my friends.
Totally. Let's find a role for Kelly Rowland. But I think what's happened is actually nothing. She's probably just being the same as she's always been, but he now has seen these pictures of her when she was a stripper, and he's like, you're flirting with him, they're flirting with you, when really it's probably just how they were the whole time.
Yep.
But he's looking at things in a skewed view because he's judging her about this. First of all, something that's completely fine, like it's whatever, like who cares? And then, but he, I don't know, it's like he is holding himself in a higher esteem. And so therefore looking down on her and inventing these excuses so that he doesn't have to say to his friends, oh, I just dated her because she used to be a stripper. So he doesn't look like the asshole at the end of the day.
No, I think it's just insecurity, 100%.
Yeah.
Like all that other stuff you said is just coming out of the fact that, oh my God, she was a stripper. She's probably been with a bunch of guys. Why would she be impressed by me? And then like viewing someone lower and lashing out in these different ways. That's all just coming from him being insecure. Yeah. And that's either he has to get over that, or the answer would be to break up, whether it's him or her doing it, just because if that's the dynamic in a relationship, that's not going to work going forward.
Yeah, that's true. I have a similar, kind of thing in my relationship before me and my fiance were together. I mean, not like right before, but a while ago.
Amy was a stripper?
No, but I had sex with a lot of guys for money, and Amy has confidence. You know what I mean? So she's like, I don't care that my boyfriend used to blow guys for meth. Okay. That's, it's a different time, you know, like none of my friends want him to blow them for meth, as far as I can tell. And so I'm not insecure about it.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. But here's the other thing as well, is that he's very clear to mention is she wasn't hiding this. It wasn't like they were going through and she's like, oh, it wasn't like he stalked her Facebook and he found these pictures or went through like a drawer or something. They were going through their public photos together, and she's just like, oh yeah, that's when I was a stripper. Like, she's not embarrassed of it, nor should she be.
I think he fucked up then. When you date a girl, you got to do some reconnaissance.
Well, that's another thing I thought. Like, if you haven't gone through their Facebook and their Instagram, like, you're kind of an idiot.
He's like someone just now.
Did I use the word reconnaissance correctly there?
You did.
Oh, I don't know.
Okay,
I just assume so. You're smarter than I am. So
a friend of mine said it recently. I've been trying to use it in a sentence. I've been failing so far. So I'm proud.
Oh, that was great.
Okay.
I like frosting on my reconnaissance cereal. God damn it! I fucked it up again.
Okay, wait. Reconnaissance. Okay, I'm looking it up right now.
Hell yeah.
Okay. Okay, it means military observation of a region to locate an enemy or assertive strategic.
He should have gone Marine Recon on her Instagram.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, recon.
Recon.
So, like,
nobody ever says the full word. It sounds like a French restaurant that has a Michelin stars.
I was thinking Renaissance at first too. He's going through a Renaissance. So.
Take those doubloons out of your pocket.
Please. Give me a turkey leg. This dude sounds like someone who's just now watching Lost and wants to talk about it. They're like, hey, did you? Yeah, Hurley's great. We all knew that already. Just fuck off. Too late.
Yeah, he just didn't do the proper research when they started dating, and now he sees a thing that seems like it might be a deal breaker for him. And this is why you need to stalk people when you're dating.
Yeah. Even though I don't, condone his attitude that like, oh no, I've got to dump her. But if you have these, invented, I don't know if phobia is the right word, or hang-ups, you need to do your due diligence. It's like, definitely, like, every single person I've dated, the instant like what their Instagram is, what their Facebook, I completely go through. I mean, that's just, I would expect the same.
Yeah.
Really. So.
Yeah, exactly. Like, that's why I didn't blow a single guy for meth on my Facebook page,
Right.
Amy had to really dig for that one.
You just did it on your unlisted Twitter handle. It's a different
Exactly.
crowd.
It would be like me saying that Matt over here, one of his favorite books is Sex, Drugs, and Cocoa Puffs. See how easy it is to do online? Just do your work.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's back in the day when you had to like pick favorites for Facebook.
I know, yeah. What's your 5 favorite TV shows? Like,
and I just picked like the most random dumb things, and someone had a book listed as Sex, Drugs, and Cocoa Puffs, and I listed it as my favorite book.
They say never judge a book by its cover. I will judge this one by its title. That is an amazing title, and I love it.
I remember back in the day when I had a crush on a girl, I would look up her Facebook interests and then kind of subtly try and bring up her favorite band in conversation.
Yeah.
Wow. But that's, I don't know, like, that's just kind of like getting to know someone and taking an interest. I don't think that's like stalkery.
Yes.
Yeah. She's like, she's saying it to the world. I am into, whatever, Bob Dylan.
You're like, oh baby, I too am into Cracker Barrel.
Yeah. Although I do remember one time on a date, a girl brought something up. I don't remember what it was. She was like, so I saw that you, and just said something, and it was from my Facebook, and part of me was like, oh, she went through my Facebook? It's a normal thing, but in the moment it felt like that's kind of weird.
Yeah, it's easy to separate the two. Like one time a guy did that to me because when you like check in at some place, and I wrote some stupid post, and I put like I checked in at your mom's house, and so he then I saw him like an hour later, and he goes, where's your mom's house? And I got all mad. I'm like, my mom's dead. Why are you asking about her? Like, it's on your Facebook. And then I was like, oh, I'm a psycho. Sorry.
Okay. will you go out with me?
That's why you got to be tough to do Facebook reconnaissance. Sometimes you got ambushed. You know what I mean? You get ambushed by Tinder ISIS over here.
Yeah.
The comeback should have been, wow, seems like you really need a mother figure in your life.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, but yeah, so going back to this couple is doomed. And I hope that he breaks up with her for her sake. Because she sounds great. She sounds fun. She's done different stuff in her life and she's completely not ashamed of it. And she's just dating some controlling douchebag who's judging her. Like,
I've been in the same boat, and he just doesn't. Unless she comes out in the bedroom one day and she goes, "I'm going back to hooking" with a little satchel on her back, and he's got nothing to worry about. It's all in the past before they met. So
imagining some hooker in go-go boots with a stick and handkerchief over her shoulder.
Gone hooking. Yeah.
Very hot.
I was wondering why she never walked around in less than 8 inches of heels. That's weird.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well,
but yeah, I guess my advice for incel Richard Gere here would be to I guess you have to. You know how they say if you love something, set it free? I mean, you can't set her free because if you do that, she's going to find someone better than you. I mean, that sounds easy, right? So
anyway,
what you got to do is get a job where you're gone for weeks on end. Boom. And then you act excited and happy about it and giddy and don't bring her feelings into it at all. Make her miss you a bit. While you're on a business trip, you get what? A side piece. But you get kind of mean with that side piece. You cheat on her, you get real, like, I don't really care. I used to be a male stripper. Fuck you, and you just kind of, you get with her, you break up with her, make her think you're the shit, even though we all know you're not. But you fake it. And then you have one under your belt because I'm going to guess this is your first girlfriend in a while. You kind of bleed, hasn't been laid since Bush was in office, kind of fucking vibe. So I think it's been a while for you. You need to get another one under your belt. It's going to help with the insecurity, but kind of keep her on the side because again, she's not going to want you when she finds anybody else because they're going to be better.
Yeah. 100%.
I hope he follows your advice beat by beat, word by word.
Yes.
He downloads the video, transcribes it, and then makes like a whiteboard, and he's like, okay, and then he's got like these, like yarn that he's like
connecting the strings. He's like, okay, cheat on her, Jackson, the island. Yeah.
It just looks like a beautiful mind when he gets crazy.
All the numbers. And he's like, I got it. And she's left him already after he
Grasshopper, when you can snatch the pebble out of my palm while cheating on your girlfriend. That's when you don't need my help anymore. Until then, pay me $50 a session.
I think he should continue dating strippers until he feels better about himself. Build the confidence up.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's more fish in the sea and there's more strippers in the river, as the sayings go.
Oh. Well, perfect. Well, I think we answered that question. Should we do a wine commercial?
Yes, absolutely. Let's take a quick, somewhat sort of break and hear from our somewhat sort of sponsors. Listeners, top off your wines. We're about to do the same. Don't go nowhere. We will be right back. Actually, we're gonna stay here. It's like a live stream kind of thing. Yeah, it's live. We're going to stay here and we're going to hear from our somewhat kind of not really sponsors.
Yes. Dramatic pause.
Oh, you fancy motherfuckers out there on YouTube. Do you want a delicious Pinot Grigio with an admittedly dull name? Okay, this name sucks. Don't let it scare you away from the Pinot Grigio. This shit is delicious. It's like a really citrusy one, but not sweet, not too sweet. That's what I don't like a sugary fucking wine, I don't like that sort that shit that tastes like lemonade and Kool-Aid and vodka. A lot of cheap wines taste like that. Most Chardonnays, I don't like a Chardonnay. I'm not saying I've never had a good Chardonnay. I'm just saying most of them suck. That's why I'm drinking Pinot Grigio. I'm drinking Josh Pinot Grigio. Delicious, citrusy. Again, the taste is not as boring as the name. I cannot stress that enough.
What's
The
that name again?
Josh Pinot Grigio. It makes my palate go limp when I hear it, but then I taste it and I'm like, Josh is kind of hung, I guess. I don't know. It's good. It's good wine. Josh Pinot Grigio. Get you some. Another dramatic pause. Dramatic pause and. Oh, we are back on the Love Gurus podcast. Second half. We've been here the whole time. It's weird when we don't take an actual break, even though I edit them out when it was pre-recorded. You know?
Yeah, it is weird. But we're still getting the hang of this whole like just go live thing, so it's gonna be great.
Yeah.
It's great. There are, I don't know what's going on, but there are like these massive trucks outside that just keep driving by. So maybe it's because they are listening to our podcast and they're trying to like get onto the feed. I don't know, but they're
Where are you? Are you in Area 51?
I don't. This is actually a fake background, and I've been abducted by my boyfriend, and I might not live through the night, but I'm gonna do a podcast.
You should write into this podcast.
Q told me that Suzanne knows where the aliens are. She's helping the Clintons and the Bushes and everybody in government that's not Trump cover for the aliens. That's what's going on right now.
Yeah. I'm getting real into syringes these days.
Hey, right.
But yeah, we are going to take more questions with our two awesome guests, with Matt Maran and Rory Scholl.
Yeah.
We are going to take more questions from the wild animals on Yahoo Answers.
Next question. Not sure where to take it from here, so I need some advice. I've been doing some carpentry work for a well-off family that has an au pair from Germany. I'm 31 and she's 26, and she came over here around September 2020. I knew she was I knew she was there, and so we talked a few times, but I never really noticed her until a few days before Christmas. So I grabbed her a Starbucks gift card, then invited her to a New Year's for some Chinese food with the family because the family she's nannying went for a ski trip. On the 2nd of January, I call and invited her to go bowling, and she accepts. We get there and it's shut down. So after that, we decided to go to the mall, and they were having a fire drill. I suggested to go for coffee.
Fire drill?
A fire drill at the mall? I suggested we go for a coffee at Starbucks.
Are you sure it wasn't actually on fire? That's fucking weird.
Wasn't
Like, listen, I would take your order for a smoothie, but we're pretending the mall's on fire? What the fuck?
I would have started the whole story with that.
Yeah.
That's so crazy.
Like, I agree with you. I don't know. Why would a mall do a fire drill? Like, you hear a fire alarm in a mall, yeah, it probably is the real thing.
I think it was an actual fire. Yeah. I think people died that day.
Doing stand-up in there and his bits were too hot.
Oh!
Yep.
Oh, burn the malls to the ground when I'm doing sets in there. I burns them to the ground.
Let's need it.
So they go out for the mall, and then now it's been about a month later, and just about every time she sees me, we're talking for a significant amount of time about family, food, and so on. I'm wondering if I should ask her out again, or if she's just being super nice and likes being chatty because I buy her coffee, or am I overthinking this? I also realize the only way to actually know is to ask her out, but I'm just looking for advice on this. So this guy, who is, how old did he say? He's 31. So he's 31 and he's doing some carpentry work for this rich family. Hot, right? Kurt Russell, Goldie Hawn, Overboard, fast movie. So
it's like that, but in a mall that's on fake fire.
Fire mall.
Fire mall. He gets her a gift, a little present for Christmas. They kind of go out for like these social things, but like the universe just doesn't agree with them, and everything's shut because of COVID, obviously. Then there was a fire, so they don't hang out.
He got cock blocked by a fake mall fire. Holy shit.
So now it's like a month later, and he wants to ask her out again, But now he's questioning because they haven't seen each other really, like they've only just chatted. Does she really like him? Or is she just being nice to him because she's also working? Like she's the nanny for this family. And he's now questioning, like, does she really like me? And should I ask her out? Or is she just being nice? So
isn't this the plot of Downton Abbey? Or am I wrong?
It's a new millennial zennial version of Downton Abbey. It's a 2021. They're not like the Von whoever's who inherited it all from like a silver mine somewhere. It's some TikToker's nanny, you know. It's some guy who invented a dance where he fucking waves shampoo bottles around and goes, and now he's a billionaire. And he has a nanny, and she's the shampoo TikToker nanny, and there's a fake mall fire for some reason.
But see,
got everything.
Yeah, here's the thing that I just feel like this guy might get fired, right? Like, let's say that you're the family, right? And you hire this dude, this 31-year-old dude to come in and do some carpentry work, and he just starts hitting on your nanny. Like, aren't you kind of responsible to not make it a hostile work environment? Because it is a work environment for them. She's the nanny.
You can ask someone out without making it hostile. Just ask her out. Don't whip your dick out.
Not in 2021, Matt.
Who hurt you, Suzanne? Who hurt you?
But I yeah.
He asked me out for coffee like a predator.
Yeah.
Actually, who knows? Today's day and age.
Okay, I understand what I sound like, but I do kind of think that he's making it hostile because at least he questioned it and he said, oh, is she just chatting to me because she has to be nice, basically? Because what else is she going to do? Like this guy, he could be completely unaware and just come and talk to her. What's she supposed to be? Be like, get out of here. This is my house. Like, she can't say that.
You could say something like, hey, I had fun the last time we went out. Would you want to grab a drink again sometime? And if she says no, then you could just be like, okay. And I don't think that makes it hostile.
Yeah.
And if she does maybe go out, then when you're out, you can like have that conversation like a little bit more in detail. But when you're there, she's like, no, I have a boyfriend, or no, it's like you can like even make a joke like, oh yeah, I don't know, I thought you liked me, but you were probably just being nice to me because it's your job, and then go back to work. Like,
yeah,
it doesn't have to be hostile.
I'm having an affair with the Lord of the Manor, with the TikTok star.
Maybe
who
don't
has
ruin
the place.
it for the nanny.
Got a small waist, pretty face, and a big old.
Hey, you're on TikTok too.
And then the reveal at the end of this weird Black Mirror episode is he's been hostilely hitting on her the whole time. It turns out she's the real TikTok billionaire because she's what? The TikTok nanny. Oh, it was her mansion the whole time. She was hiring those people to pretend to be the lords and ladies of the manor.
God,
and this guy's canceled. He'll never get hired for construction again.
That's
I don't understand.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, no, I was just saying, if he's like, what is he building that he's going to have this carpentry job forever? Like,
well, my guess is a closet with shoes that like were the.
Yeah, but how long could that take? Because he's this bad a carpenter. Ask her out when you're done with the job, unless you're on retainer.
Oh, that could depending on how long the job is. Yeah, maybe once the job is over, ask her out once the job's over.
Yeah,
definitely do it on your last day. Sure.
But unless it's like a 2-year-long project, maybe. But either way, you got to ask her out. The whole thing is, I don't know if she's just being nice to me or not. Well, that's how you find out. You got to do it. Stop being a pussy.
Yeah. And while I do agree with that sentiment, I do also like to point this out at least once an episode. I like to err against the people writing the questions when in doubt, because A, most of them are indeed animals, and B, this is totally their pro-them propaganda. It's their Fox News, their MSNBC, their North Korean state-run news, Pink Lady News, if they happen to be the crazy little guy with the funny haircut running the joint. So
what really happened in that mall when the fire alarm was pulled?
That's what I'm saying. We both know, we acknowledged earlier, with the four of us know, malls don't do fire drills while they're open for business.
There's never been a time I was trying on shoes at Macy's and had to run out with the shoes on my feet because there was a fire drill. Like, of course you're going to steal shit during the fire drill. That's why they don't do them.
If the lady's going to sit down with you and she's like, oh, listen, I can't have this meal. It turns out the mall's on. Oh, I know you don't see smoke. It's a fire. It's a fake fire. It's we can't do this. And they're having a fire drill.
When he's saying, we talk every day, it's like him with his buddies going, dude, she said good morning to me again. I mean, you see what I'm saying?
That's what I'm saying. Like they're like leaving, and she's holding like the little hammer that you use to like hit the fire glass.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that because I think that there is definitely he could be completely unaware, and he's like talking to her and he's like, oh, we talk all the time, and it's like what Matt said, and it's like she asked me how cold is it outside again today.
But she said it with lust in her eyes.
Right. He should just ask her out. Otherwise, what? The whole time he's working there, he's just gonna be leering at her and wondering what if. And then she's gonna pick up on that. Could it be even creepier?
But the other important detail that I think that we have,
I'm picturing this guy putting a cabinet together all seductively. You know what I mean? Like he's got the nail and he's banging it all kind of slow, and he's just sort of the whole time just looking her up and down, just bang, bang. He's like moving his pelvis with it, just bang, bang.
Au pair, what's that? What's an au pair? And a fruit. He's like,
and I picture him like old and bald too. He looks even more like Jim Brewer than I am. He's got a hairy chest. He's balding. This girl's 23 goddamn years old. He's got gray chest hairs. He's like, yeah, this young nanny wants to fuck.
He's
bang,
nice.
bang,
Reminds her of her grandfather.
Sorry.
She's only being nice because he reminds her of her grandfather.
You look like the old man in a Scooby-Doo cartoon. He's like, oh, yeah.
I remember when my grandfather used to be building cabinets, and then he would just wander off, and just not know what I think that's what's going on right now. I think that's what's going on, and she just felt bad for him.
But here's another important detail that we haven't even discussed yet, is that she's German. She's from Germany, and I'm not saying all, but I think 99% of the German people I've met, there's no they're very straightforward. Like it's, if they like something or they have an opinion, they tell you about it.
That's a good point.
There's no shame in it. They're not necessarily being evil about it. It's just,
they can sometimes be evil about their opinions, though.
Well, that one guy was really bad.
But even then, he was honest about what he wanted to do. He was
at least he said what he felt.
He was not a passive-aggressive man. He was a very aggressive man. I don't play games.
Come on, do your recount.
I'm just saying the fact that she's German has to play into it. Like she's probably just answering his questions. He's probably talking at her. She is just replying to him. It doesn't necessarily mean that she likes him. She's just like, oh, someone is talking to me. I will talk back to that person. Right?
Or maybe this guy's even more clueless, but the other way, that she does like him and she's been saying it this whole time. And he's just there like, I wonder if she likes me.
He's like, what time will you pick me up? And he's like, 9. She's like, fine. Hey,
that is a great German joke. Yeah, I don't know. Does anyone else have? Okay, so I would say my final advice for this dude is I think Matt and Rory, you guys already said it. Wait until the last day of this carpentry gig, just so you don't get fired. Assuming it's in the fairly near future. Wait until your last day. Be like, look, it's been great getting to know you. I would love to take you out for a drink or coffee sometime if you would like to, and be nice about it. But if she says no or gives you an excuse, then that's it. Drop it. Like you've already, because she definitely doesn't like you. You've already wasted enough of her time.
Yeah.
I say ask her out, forget about the job. What's more important, this one construction job or potentially the rest of your life with this beautiful German woman?
Oh my God.
Fuck the job, ask her out. I don't care when the job ends. All your eggs in this basket. Go for it.
That is the whole plot of the reality show The Bachelor. The housewives are like, fuck my career and my future. I'm going to be an idiot of myself going after this one guy who's definitely not going to pick me.
There's been dudes
and people love The Bachelor.
And they love it. That's what I'm saying. So
there's been dudes on that show who walked out on their wife and 3 kids to maybe fuck some girl and win $1 million that they
Wait,
never
for
met.
real? Hold on, that's the fucking coolest dude ever. Seriously?
I mean, I don't know about wife and 3 kids, but yeah, there's been guys who were like about to get married, and I've definitely heard those stories where, yeah, they've been in like years long committed relationships, and they were like, I passed the audition. I'm gonna go try to get a rose.
Every single one of the questions we've gotten so far today, instead of whatever advice I gave them, my new advice is break up with them and go on The Bachelor.
Yeah. I mean, you're not guaranteed to get on The Bachelor, so maybe follow our advice. But if somewhere along the path of following our advice, you get accepted on The Bachelor or Bachelorette, what are you doing, dummy?
I don't know. Your husband's away. Your husband's got a job, is away for weeks at a time. Go on The Bachelor. Your girlfriend's a stripper. Go on The Bachelor.
Exactly. You're away for weeks at a time, honey. That's fine. I am away for half to a full season, depending on how things go.
Yeah, only like 6 weeks. Totally doable. Yeah. Perfect. Well, I think we answered that question. Should we do one more?
Absolutely. Last question on the Love Gurus podcast. People, write your questions into loveguruspodcast@yahoo.com. Catch us every single Thursday live on YouTube at 9 p.m. Eastern. And we're going to take one more from the wild creatures on yahooanswers.com.
Last question. Has this relationship... Oh, no, I'm going to sneeze. Oh, no. Come on, Doctor.
Oh, okay. It's live. We're going to get to see it live. Sneeze.
I've stifled it. Okay.
Think about the sun. You remember the last time you ever looked up right into the sun? It's all bright, it's all in your sinuses.
It's on my laptop. Yeah. Okay, I'm good. Okay, I apologize. Okay, last question. Has this relationship potentially already been ruined? I met a guy through online dating. We're both 36, and because I was bored, I didn't expect to really click with someone. So we started video chatting, and then we exchanged numbers to make sure that the other person was a real person. We texted and video chatted once more before setting up a date. Typical pandemic date. We went for a walk and talked, and he admitted that he was looking for a relationship and that he was ready to get off online dating. We enjoyed each other's company, and it was like I already knew him. You could cut the sexual tension with a knife.
Ooh.
Oh,
that's original.
Since that day, we've texted for hours every day. Once before we discussed sex was very important in a relationship, and that's now all we really talk about. It's been very fun, and I'm realizing that I'm actually opening up about having a relationship with him. We have a lot of stuff in common, but because of crazy schedules, we're still waiting to see each other again. So I'm wondering, because all we talk about is sex now, have we gone way too fast, way too soon? Has the potential for a relationship already been ruined by the constant sex conversations? Or should I just enjoy it for whatever it turns out to be?
Plus, I realized before we get into it, cut the tension with a knife is a fucking shitty term because you can cut most things with knives, dude. I'm just saying that's what you usually use to cut stuff. Now, if it's one of those steaks you can cut with your fork, if you can cut that sexual tension with a fork, that's a really tender sexual tension.
But this is a good question, though. Wouldn't you want the sexual tension to be really dense, like a block of wood, or would you want the sexual tension to be like meatloaf consistency?
Sexual tension you can't even cut with a knife.
Yes, that's right. The knife is in the middle, right? You would want one of the two extremes. It's sexual tension. You need a full-on fucking chainsaw. You know what I mean? You need a goddamn.
The better on this one. Yeah.
Rock hard.
Although it doesn't really sound as sexy to be like, man, you can cut the sexual tension with a power drill.
But
the sexual tension you could cut in half with a blowtorch and a welder's mask.
Yeah.
That's weird.
But I think that this would be a really helpful descriptor. So because I would say me and my boyfriend's sexual tension is the consistency of Jell-O. Like, and it's not, and it just gives you an insight, because we've been together for a while, et cetera, et cetera. I think that this is a metaphor that people are really, or I guess a simile, but this is something that people are missing out on for sure.
I think people are generally just saying it as a way of either there is or isn't sexual tension. They're saying it is there, so it exists, so it can be cut with a knife. But
because it exists in the physical realm. It's not. Yes, it's not fake news.
The next level. We're saying it shouldn't just exist. It should be powerful.
You know what you can't exist. You know what you can't cut in half with a knife? Fake news. This sexual tension is not fake news. No.
Our sexual could have been cut with Shamu's tail. That's how I would. That's the relationship I want.
This sexual tension can be cut in half with a lightsaber because it's not fucking real unless it's a galaxy far, far away a long, long time ago.
Okay, so they met online. They went for like a COVID date where they just went and talked and chit chatted and whatever. But now, instead of having normal, so they haven't had sex yet. Instead of having just normal, like, how was your day, chit chat, now every time these two talk, it's always about sex. And so her question is this now ruined for a real relationship because there's no like real talk? I don't know. I'm kind of on the fence about this one. I want to say it's ruined because she's asking the internet in general about her love life, but
yeah,
it's not necessarily like it's kind of hot. Like,
not necessarily, and I feel like there's probably a lot of people in situations like this with COVID where people are not necessarily going on dates and being out as often as you could be before. So there's probably people who are kind of getting further along in conversations about relationships than they've actually gotten in the relationship. Mm. And it could maybe cause just like some different problems. I don't think it's necessarily ruined. My advice, though, is go on The Bachelor. All my advice is either going to be go on The Bachelor or anal. That's my response to every question.
Get your headshot up. Get headshots updated. Daft.
I think we could. I say combine the advice from the last 4 questions. Have anal sex with a nanny at a rich guy's house that you happen to be working at while you're both watching The Bachelor. Yeah.
Yes. Well, he's wielding a hammer above you.
Yes.
Ready. Yeah.
Trying to break that sexual
with
tension.
the knife.
He's cutting. Yeah, that's it. Fucking Joe Jackson is playing in the background. It's beautiful.
Uh-huh.
I think she should be having fun with this, right? Because usually when you have sex, that's when everything gets ruined. So have fun with this now. Especially with COVID and no one's doing much. So if you find someone who's like, oh shit, they want to do sex talk all the time, you're going to latch onto that, and do it a lot.
Yeah. But what here's a concern that I would have personally if I were in this situation is that I would say a bunch of stuff during sexy talk that I have no intention of ever doing. I totally am saying it to sound cool.
For example.
Yeah, this is a hypothetical Suzanne, but real Suzanne would never do these things because then when you actually have sex, he comes out, with a Rosie Riveter outfit, and I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? I didn't mean that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything. Guys don't talk and dirty talk and say things they wouldn't do, except like, I'm gonna make you come. But as far as like
that part might be a lie, and is a lot of times a lie.
But as far as things they're willing to do, guys won't really. I feel like girls will be the ones to lie about that. So coming into it, it's going to be probably more on the girl to like live up to expectations. Actually, they're both having to live up to expectations. But as far as like, I thought you said you would do that. That's probably going to be more on the girl. So maybe that's why she's a little bit worried.
My expectation right now would just be her showing up. I'd be like, okay, well, that's 80% right there. So I don't really care what the ask.
I don't have to worry about living up to expectations with my fiance because I mean, she fakes orgasms really, really well, you know? So we're
She's
good
an
there.
actor.
She's an actress, man. They're amazing. Honestly, I prefer her fake ones to her real ones. They're amazing. I mean, not only does she sell them really well, like they're fucking dramatic. But really, what's a real orgasm? That just kind of comes from the bits and pieces downstairs, doesn't it? You know, a fake orgasm means that she cares about my feelings. Real orgasms come from the genitals. Fake orgasms come from the heart. You know, I like the fake ones so much more.
Rory, I hope the other Smurfs in the village can't hear this talk.
We never mentioned your background. I'm so sorry. I've seen so many Zoom backgrounds. At this point, after a year of Zoom backgrounds, it's not weird to me that you're sitting in a fucking Smurf castle.
Papa Smurf could walk onto the screen naked right now and no one would say
anything. We only have one woman in the village over here. So.
What's the blonde Smurf's name?
What?
The blonde Smurf. What's her name?
Smurfette.
The hot one.
Smurfette,
right.
You put a lot of thought into her personality. Everyone, I guess, personality. Jokey, Baker, and Painter. She's just Smurfette. They didn't even think about it.
I was going to go with Stormy the Smurf. I was way off. That's not it.
Stormy Dan Smurf.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I think, I don't know. I mean, so I think, yeah, I think that the relationship is, I would say that my final advice to this woman is, no, the relationship isn't necessarily doomed, but don't write a check that your vag can't cash, if that makes sense. Like, say, if you're going to have sexy talk, only say, like, things that are definitely within your wheelhouse or your desire level. Don't introduce crazy stuff, because that is gonna get awkward.
Yeah, we'd have to. I think I'd have to know what the sex is. It sexy talk, or is it just sex talk where they're talking about sex in general? It's tough to know what advice to give depending on what the conversation is.
Oh, like are they? Yeah, is it like sex, like sexting and verbal sexting, or is it just like talking about it? Like they're not like role playing essentially, but they're just like talking about it. Yeah, good question. I based on how it's written, I would assume it's both.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, it's like now I'm handcuffing you, or one day I'd like to be handcuffed. There's a difference.
Oh, I was once handcuffed. I once did this in bed. I once did that. I've had conversations like that with girls.
Sure.
It can be a nice way to, like, you hear about them tell a story, you kind of get an idea of what you should or shouldn't do then when you do hook up.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a very good distinction. Yeah.
I've been handcuffed too, but let me tell you from experience, the cops were very upset when I came in the back of that squad car. They're like, dude, we got to clean this up now. Yeah. They started beating on me with nightsticks, which I would have thought was hot, but what? I already came. I'm not turned on anymore by this.
They made you work for the second one. They got to work.
Well, you could
I'm like, give me 15 minutes and a fucking line of crank. What are you doing?
Raided Jake's apartment for all the drugs he had, and they put handcuffs on, and he's like, oh, this is kinky.
Who hired you? You're so realistic. I'm hardy as fuck right now. Yeah.
You couldn't have been the first one, because isn't that why they have the partition? I mean, it has to be like a safety thing from all the guys that, just
but here's the thing with driving around with jizz on glass right in the back of your head. It's not fun, And
I would. Yeah, that is something I would do. Just derail a sex conversation where she's talking about handcuffs, and I start telling stories about how I got arrested.
Yeah.
That's how you lose them. That's where they go away.
And then actually, once I went to jail, it became a sex story. But that's
it became a sex story.
Hey.
Yeah, yes. Like I said, yeah, it's okay. Like I said, my final advice is just keep your head up and give him a little, if you want to, if that's your thing.
Yeah, this seems like it doesn't have to be ruined. But there are such things as meeting someone and kind of the conversation going further than where the actual relationship is. So just kind of be aware of, even though you may personally feel super connected to this person, you've still only been out a couple times. Don't be tricked into thinking there's more than there necessarily is.
Oh, there
Yeah!
Circle!
That's a real sneeze, not a fake
That
sneeze.
was amazing.
Sneeze came out. Well, perfect. Well, I think
That's what happens when I actually give genuine advice, Suzanne.
I'll give genuine advice too. Fucking real life. But I realize that in this day and age, I sound like an old man saying it. As opposed to, hey, Zennials, just talk about fucking with your thumbs for like a year and a half before meeting up in person. Just back and forth. Just talk about it. Talk.
Yeah, perfect. Well, perfect. Well, I think we answered that question. I think we answered all the questions perfectly. And yeah, these people are maybe not the most savage we've ever listened to, but we're getting them there. We're getting them there.
Yeah, a couple of them were. The guy who was possibly harassing the nanny was pretty fucking weird.
He's crazy.
The guy whose girlfriend was a stripper, but his friends were trying to fuck the stripper.
The friends were savages.
They were savages.
I want to hear their side.
Savage. He was like, I mean, my savage friends are doing what they should do, but this whore, you know. And I'm like, dude, you have terrible friends.
Honestly, in every story we've been told today, the only good guys that I see are the friends of the guy who had a stripper.
Yeah.
Yeah. The friends of the heroes in this episode.
Yes.
And whoever lit them all on fire, they need a shout. That's a lot.
Listen, some guys got to get broken up with and cheated on, and some malls got to get fake lit on fire. I mean, that's life. That's what we learned today. Thank you to our awesome guests. Thank you to Rory Scholl. Thank you to Matt Maran. And thank you to the listeners. Until next week, check us out every Thursday at 9 p.m. Eastern on YouTube. Until next time, later.